Okay, good evening, everybody. Can anyone hear me? Good evening. Can anybody confirm on the chat if you can hear me at all? Fayelu, I'm here. Can we hear me? Okay, you can hear me. Good evening. How is the weather over there? How is the weather with you? Did it rain over there? It's raining in Mina. Interesting. Okay, raining Franca. Franca, where are you? Cold. Jide, chilling, Fakunle, interesting. You need to go and get what? Somebody knows already. What do you need to go and get? It's cloudy in Port Harcourt, Akara. Okay, interesting. Somebody knows. Somebody got the answer correctly. Okay, so sorry we are starting I am some minutes behind schedule. So sorry about that, everybody. Actually, the rain was not the issue why we're starting this late. It was part of it, but it shouldn't have been this late. I was supposed to have started. I've been on the call for some minutes, but for some reasons, the laptop I'm supposed to use for the training is not coming up. The other system that I'm on at the moment, for some weird reasons, I am not able to share screen. So that's why we have not started yet. So we are making an arrangement. One of my bosses will come on the call in some minutes and would start this training with you. So, but notwithstanding, just before it comes up, you need Zobo. But hot Zobo is hot Zobo sweet, eh? How would you enjoy hot Zobo? What I know is people say they want cold Zobo. But how do you want to manage cold Zobo in this rain? Raining in Jos, raining in Lagos, cooling pH. Oh, interesting. You are enjoying. Don't worry. Your rainy season is coming. So that's the reason. So sorry about that, everybody. This was not planned. It's just beyond us. But we are making an arrangement and we will get to begin in some minutes. Zobo Tutu. All right, that's fine. Okay, so now in the last class, or let me say last week, we had a bit of conversation around some things. We started with some introduction to data, getting to understand some foundation when it comes to working with data. After which, we now started our discussion around Excel. And then on Excel, we looked at a couple of things. That was on Wednesday and on Thursday. So today we're supposed to continue that. But before we go on, I want every single person on the call go on the chat and type what you have gained so far in the course. I know that for some people, you probably have learned loads of things. For some people, it's a refresher. For some people, you're just trying to catch up with some things. But however it is, go on the chart and drop a few things that you've learned so far. Drop that on the chat for us. Somebody is saying something I don't want to read out. Why, Sheon? Why? Akaram bread. Yeah, you're getting it, Ayodele. You are getting it. Sergeant, you are not scared of Excel again. That is where we are getting to. That is the reason, the main reason why we are having this class. By the end of this class, you should not be scared of Excel anymore. You should be confident enough to go into Excel and do some amazing things yourself. What's the best version for learning this course? Version for what? Function in Excel. Yes. What function specifically have you learned in Excel? What function? You can name a few of them. You can name a few of them quickly. What functions have you learned so far? Some function, flash fill, interesting. I know a lot of you will like the flash fill. I know that because many people like shortcuts. Many people like shortcuts. So large concatenate, interesting. Computer version. So when you say computer version, do you want to buy a new computer and you're asking what would work for this? If that is your question, try to focus on the RAM. Get nothing less than 4 gig RAM and should be SSD. So SSD maybe 256 or thereabouts. and probably core i3 at least if you're able to. Difference between sum and SUMIF. That's interesting. Someone knows how to use the proper function. Baba, thanks a lot for that. Dorcas has learned a number of functions. Good. Dorcas even added etc for me. So that guy, go and complete it yourself. I've learned a lot. That's interesting. Well done, Dorcas. Every organization run two system callings. That's cool. Good to know about that. Merging formulas. What do we call merging formulas? When you begin to combine formulas together unique, what do we call it? I gave you the technical term for that, so you should remember. I have learned how to use shortcut keys. Super, Esther, well done on that. Esther, your surname seems familiar to me. It looks like I know somebody who answers that surname. Large concatenate, super, well done. I'm looking for some functions that probably no one has mentioned. Maxif, minifs, excellent. Olamide, well done. Zayit, nesting. It's not next, it's nest, like the nest of a bird. So that's what nest is. Nesting. You're putting something into one another, just like you put things inside the nest. So nesting, yes, that is what combining or merging function is. Flash fill concatenate, okay. So but beyond the functions, what have you learned when it comes to data analysis as a whole? You had a perception of it before now, and now your perception probably has changed about it. You have a different perspective to it now. What do you think? Maybe before now you had always thought that data analysis is purely mathematics, and if you don't know mathematics, you cannot cope. But now, has it changed? Maybe before now you've always thought that no, I don't think my brain can take data analysis. Somebody has always thought that the only thing that can sit in their brain is being a mechanic and pouring oil into the sump. But now maybe that has changed for you. So let me know. Let me know. Bukola logical thinking. Interesting. Uh Adeyemi, you shouldn't work like a mechanic. Yes, yes, you shouldn't work like a mechanic. I wouldn't say that you shouldn't think like them. Of course, I'm one. I'm a mechanic as well. That's what I studied. But again, I've never practiced. So, but it's cool. I'm okay being identified as one. Data analysis is being able to identify what that flew up, and I wanted to read it. Quite interesting there. Data analysis will make decision making easier. Interesting. And what's important thing that data analysis would do for you? Yes, Collins, data analysis is more of logic than math. Interesting. It is more of logic than math. It is more of logic, you understanding the problem, you understanding the business, and then assisting them to get to a conclusion, to get to the promised land. So that's what data analysis really is. So it's not essentially you cramming functions or cramming mathematics or cramming formula. In fact, hopefully maybe we're able to get to it at some point. For those of you that probably would remember, I know some people would not remember, when you were in secondary school, when we were in secondary school, we probably did some things around standard deviation. So when you at that time we were all just cramming. So standard deviation, the formula, summation x minus x bar squared over n, mean deviation, all of those things we were just cramming. We didn't know the practicality, we didn't know where they are applicable. But now, one of the things that you would realize is you don't necessarily need to know the formula, because that is why Excel is there for you. Excel will calculate it for you. But what you need is to understand what it does and how do you interpret what you see. That is essentially what you need to know about. So it's more about you understanding what you want to do, understanding where you want to get to, and you tend to now bridge the gap between where you want what you understand to be the problem and what you are projecting as the solution. And that's where you bring in your knowledge of analysis. Thanks a lot for that, Joshua. Correlation and regression. Correlation and regression, a lot of people probably while at school, they never knew where they are applicable. But when you further your journey in data analysis, you'll know how correlation can actually assist the business to understand what is happening in their business and how they can better achieve some things within their businesses. So somebody is still in the wrong class. You are in the wrong class in the week 2 of the training. How is that possible? Are you just resuming this week? Excel has now opened your brain like a computer. Olanrewaju, super. That is where we are getting to. Chris is just eating hot akara when we have started the class already. Why are you doing this? Can I be able to understand or have missed your first time in the class? You have missed a lot. You have a lot to catch up with. Whether you'll be able to understand or not, I won't be the one to tell you that. Okay. Let me see. Data analysis is about summarizing. Data analysis is about summarizing, getting data and ability to interpret. The material are not editable. Basi, is this your first class? That has been addressed a couple of times. You probably missed out something. You will see something at the top of your screen when you open the material, and then you will see enable content. You see enable content. Okay, so but for the material that we use today, I'll try to see, because I'm not able to share my screen. My boss that's coming in to train us tonight might it might be sharing another material with us. But again, what I need you guys to do is to please be patient and listening, listen properly, listen carefully to all of the explanations that is going to give to us. I'm sure you enjoy it if you pay attention. Just the way we've been together in this conversation, please feel free when you are confused, when you have questions, feel free to put those forth, and would definitely have a good time as always. So at this point, I'm going to be stepping down while my boss takes over. Over to you now, Femi.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Can anyone hear me? I would like to get a confirmation if I'm audible, if anyone can hear me. I would like to get a confirmation if anyone can hear me. Okay, 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 okay. Awesome. So, good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here this evening just to come in, right? It's my pleasure, and I think I was in the first class, and during the introduction, and I can see that most of our students are from all over the world, right? So, and I believe the last week class has been awesome, right? So, I just want to step in today, right, to take you on some Excel functions, right? So, like we said, my name is Femi Ayodele, so I will be in charge of today's class for a period of time, right? And sincere apologies for the technical challenges we face at the back end, right? So I believe everyone can hear me loudly, right? So we could quickly use a file which I've dropped, and the file is going to get along with you. If you cannot get the file, don't worry, right? You just proceed with the class, right? You'll get the file shortly, right? So we want to quickly talk about if function, right? I think I don't know if the that has been mentioned to you. So what actually if function is in Excel, right? What does the if function do? That for some of us that are familiar with Excel, and probably that you might have used if function in your analysis, right? As a data analyst, you use most of those functions are things that we use, right? Especially when you want to do your reporting or you want to do a quick analysis, right? So I'm going to quickly talk about if function. So I don't know if anyone have used if function before, or or you've heard about if function before. I will appreciate if someone can just quickly tell me what is if function, right? If something you've used before, right? And how, what problem did you use to solve, right? Oh, someone said my screen is not visible, right? Might be network, right? It's if function, not if function, right? Yeah, if function, if. Okay, so okay, let's go. Right. So from what you can see from my screen, for those of you that can see my screen, that is this a page where you can see things around. You can see something like age, a column called age group, then another columns uh group, then customer age, then there's another column, right? Another data that talks about name, English, mathematics, then remark. So you're going to just use this simple data to walk you through what actually if function is. So when we're talking about if function, right? So if function is in Excel allow you to test a condition. It allows you to what? To test a condition and return one value if the condition is true, then another value if it is false. I'll go over it again. If function in Excel, right, it allows you to test a condition. It allows you to test a condition and then return one value if the condition is true, then another value if it is false. So it means it allows you, it's going to give you two outputs, right? The one output is if it is true, then the other output if it is what? If it is false, right? So from there, I will talk about or and function, or and function. But before I proceed with or and function, let's go deeper on what if function is, right? So now it is a fundamental logical function, right, used to create a dynamic calculation based on a different outcome, right? It's a logical function that used to create a dynamic calculation based on a different outcome. So that's what if function does for you. So if you type your if function now, let's say for instance, if I come to this place, I believe everyone can still see my screen. I believe everyone can still see my screen. So if I come to this place now, if I tap if, right? So if function, since it is a function in the Excel, so if it is in SQL or in Power BI, we can refer to it as a syntax. That is an inbuilt tools or an inbuilt parameter that you can use to solve your problem, right? So the moment I type, even the moment I type if, you'll see all this condition that pops out, right? Now, if I press my if, you will see that, okay, there are others like ifs, if NA, if errors, ifs, right? But today we'll just focus on, for now, we'll focus on if function, right? And so you can see, if I want to proceed with this now, right, I can just open a close bracket. Now, if I open a bracket, let's look at this. Let's look at these functions or parameters that show that. So logical test, that shows what logical test. Then comma, what's the next thing is that value if true. Value if true. Then another bracket open, value if false. Are you getting me? Value if true, then value if false. So the definition I gave to you is that it allows you to test a condition and return one value if the condition is true, right? And another value if it is false. And you've already seen it from the formula showing here that it's a logical test. Yeah, first value you need to consider. Then the value, if it is true, you should return this. Then if it is false, you should return that. All right. Now, so let's look at what I have here. Let me close this. Sorry, a minute, please. Okay. Hope my screen is visible now. Right. Okay. So I've tried to zoom out, right? So I think you are good. Now, let's look at this scenario first. Let's look at this scenario here to see how function can be used in Excel. Now, I have this column, I have this data that I want to work on. I have a customer age, then I have an age group. So let's say, for instance, now I work in an organization. Let's say, for instance, like a commercial bank, and there's a new product that just opened. So what they wanted to do is that they want to categorize customers' age. They want to categorize what customer age into subgroups. For instance, maybe customers from certain age to certain age should be grouped as this. Customer from this age to this age should be grouped as this. Customer from that age to that age can be grouped as this. Or let's say, for instance, you run a business, then you pull out your customers' data. Now you want to know the customers' age group that patronize your business, right? So you want to know whether youth, adults, or young adults, teenager. So you want to know the customer age group. So that will help you to structure your business, right? That when you see those customers come into your office, you know how to like welcome them. A good example is a bank. There are some banks now that they introduce what they call senior citizen account, right? So any customer above certain age, when they come into the bank, they don't join queue, right? A good number of banks does that now. So they call that account, so they call them a senior citizen. When they come into the bank, they don't join the queue. They give them this kind of a service that they join very well, maybe from 65 and above. right? So, but how the banks are able to categorize all those things, right? There are different ways to do it, but here we also use Excel to do that. Now, if you look at this data, if I check this data now, the data start from 12 to 98, right? If you look at the data very well, it starts from 12 to 98. So let's say for instance now, let's say for instance, um, maybe customer from age of 12 to, let's say from 12 to 19, right? I think that this period is what they call teen, right? Teen. So we can call them teen or teenager. So we can call any customer that fall between this age, right? A teenager, right? Customer between this we call them teenager, right? You cannot say, okay, customer between another age, maybe from 20 now, right, to 35. You can refer to them as what? As a maybe let's say 35. Refer to them as a youth. Let's call them youth, right? Okay. Customers that between this age and this age, let's refer to them as youth. Then maybe customer from 36, right? Customer from 36 to, let's say, 45. You can refer to them as a let's say young adult, right? They are not adults, but they are still young adults, right? You can refer to them as a young adult, right? So let's say customer from to 46 to let's say 55, right? Yeah, good. So they are adults. Yeah, let's say adults. The customer from, let's say 55, any customer between 55 and 65 now, you can still refer to them as a, let's what name can we call them? Let's say we call them, let's say customer from that 55, right? From 56 to 70, right? So let's call them elder, right? Then maybe customer from 70 and above. So we can call them, right, senior citizen, right? So the focus of here now is that we want to get the customers that are above certain age, or customer between this age, right? Is our focus, right? So we don't know the focus. So the only thing we just wanted to do now is just to group them and name them, right? I don't know if we are together, right? Okay. So I'll go over everything again, right? I'll go over it again. The first thing I want to know is that we understand what if function is. We understand what if function is. So like I said, if functions is a logical test that allow you to test two or more conditions. Let's put it in that way. It allows you to test, it's a logical function in Excel that allows you to test two or more conditions. Maybe when the condition is true, we return true. Then when the condition is false, we return false. I don't know if you guys are following me, right? When the condition is true, should return true. When the condition is false, should return false. So that's what if function. So if you have that understanding, now let's proceed again. Now I said that we have this data. The data contains customer age. The data contains customer age. Then when we look at the data given to us to analyze, so we discover that the data, the youngest customer is 12 years old, and the oldest customer is 98 years old, right? That's what the data gave to us. Now we want to categorize them, right? So our customer has given us the criteria we are going to use to categorize this age. He has given us, he said, you want teenager, you want youth, they want young adult, they want elder, and they want senior citizen. Now, then if you look at it holistically, right, anyone from 12 to 19 in Nigeria or anywhere in the world is teenager. Anyone between 20 and 35 is, we consider them as youth, right? Let's assume, right? Then 36 to 45 considered to be young adult, right? I think we are following. Then 46 to 55 considered as adult. Then 56 to 70 consider them as elder, right? Let's assume they are elder. Then 70 and above, we refer to them as a senior citizen, right? Now, so to categorize them like this now. Now we want to use if function right now. We want to use if function to group them according to this uh, category they've given to us. We want to group them, right? Now, let's see how we are going to do that using if function, right? Before I proceed, okay, someone said 71. Thank you. That person is following. Yeah, 71, not 70. 71 and above. Thank you, Collins. Right. Now, so we come to this place, right? So you're going to start from the first data, the first row. The first row here is 19. The first row here is 19, right? And that's where we are going to start the if function, right? So the first thing you're going to do, press your equal sign. Press your equal sign and type if function. Once you type if function, then use your tab. Use your tab on your system, right, to hit enter. So when that is done, a bracket open for you. When that is done, a bracket is open for you. So the first thing you're going to see is your logical test. The first thing you are going to see is what? Is your logical test, right? Now, so our logical test here is this 19. Our logical test there is what? Is this 19? Sorry, a minute, please. Okay. Okay, so our logical test here is that 19. So what we wanted to do is that, how do we know if 19 falls under teenager or youth or young adult, etc., right? How do we know? So we're going to say that if 19, right, if 19 is less than or equals to, if 19 is less than or equals to, so what we wanted to do is that anyone between 12 and 19 should be considered as what? As a teenager. Anyone between 12 and 19 should be considered as teenager. So how am I going to write my function, my Excel function, my query, that it will return anyone between 12 and 19 should be teenager. So anywhere you see 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 should be teenager, right? Then anyone between 20 and 35 should be youth. So how am I going to write my if function, right? So that's what we're going to do. So the logical test is what? Is 19, like I said. So I want to say that if 19 is less than or equals to this should give me this. If this is less than this, you should give me this, right? If this is less than this, you should give me this. Then until we get to the last part of it. Now, let's start. So I'm going to say if n3, that's 19, is less than or equals to, what should I call it? Less than or equals to 19, right? Less than or equals to 19. Then it should be what? Oh, someone said my screen is frozen, right? That be network from your hand or network from my hand. Okay. Oh, some people say this is not frozen. It might be network. Network has been very, very poor, right? It might be network. It might be network. But let's proceed. So if 19, if n3, that's 19, is less than or equals to 19. So what does that mean to you? Is that any value or any given number from 19 downward should be teenager. That's what that means. Any number, any given number from 19 downward should be teenager. That's what it means, should be teenager. So I'm going to now manually type teenager. So I'm going to open an apostrophe, then I will type teenager here, teenager, right? I don't know if the spelling of my teenager is correct, right? Yeah. So once that is done, you're going to press comma. Now, you've been able to sort out the criteria or the age group between 12 and 19. So the next one to do is what? Is youth. That's between 20 and 25, right? So I'll press comma. Then my logical test again is what? So I'm going to press comma. Then I'll press this one. Make sure you press your logical test again, that which is N3, right? Then less than or equals to. So this time around now, who can tell me the number I'm going to use? Am I going to use that 19? I'm going to use 35. I want to know if you guys are following me. If n3 less than or equals to, is it 90? Oh, 35. Awesome. Thank you. 35. Right. Then comma. So that should be what? That should be youth. Right. That should be youth. Right. Now, so what this one simplifies that, it means any customer between age of 20 and 35 is what? Is youth. Right. You should return youth. Right. Awesome. Now I'm going to continue here. Then the next thing to do is what? From 36 to 30 to 45. I'm a little bit fast here. Sorry about that. Right. So I'm going to press N3 again. Then less than or equals to 45 this time around. Then press comma. They should be what? They are young adults. Right. Young adults. Then the next thing I'm going to do again, just like a repetition. What I'm doing now is like repeating it, right? Less than or equals to 55 this time around. Then should be what? Should be adult, right? Then comma. Then the next one, less than or equals to 70, right? This should be what? Elder, right? Now, The last one here is 71 and above. So how do I write 71 and above now? Who can tell me? How do I write 71 and above? Do I need to do I need to repeat the same thing, and like if N3 is less than or equals to 71? Okay, someone said less than, greater than or equals to 71. Okay. So I'll just say else. So what I'm going to do, you guys, so you're going to just see this, then senior citizen, then you close your this. So that's just what you're going to do, right? That's what you're, so meaning, so anyone above 71 should return senior citizen. Anyone above 71 should be senior citizen. That is what it means. Now I'm going to close the bracket. Right. Okay. Sorry, there's something I omitted here, right? Each time I finished a parameter, I'm supposed to open a bracket, right? I'm supposed to open a bracket, right? Then open this bracket here, open another bracket here, right? Open another bracket here. Aha. Now, so we want to close the bracket. If you want to close your bracket, you have to look at the number of times you open a bracket before you close bracket. Someone say otherwise senior citizen. Yes, otherwise, but you will not that otherwise you will not type it. You just say else senior citizen. Someone got it right. Yes, senior citizen. Right. Now, so what I'm saying is that before we can close the bracket, you have to look at the number of times you close bracket. The number of times what you close bracket, or you open a bracket. So I open the bracket how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I open the bracket 5 times. I'm going to close the bracket 5 times. Right. Wow, that's error, sorry. Okay. Yeah. Aha. Okay. So let's hit enter now. Okay. Right. So we are good. I would like to know how many of us get this. Do I need to go over it again, or we should just proceed? So if you can see my screen now. So 19 is equals to teenager, right? Someone said you didn't open for senior citizen. Yes, you don't need to open. You don't need to open for senior citizen. Someone said, I don't have the materials. Definitely, you will get the mat. You know, this is just like an impromptu class, right? So you will get the class. You will get the materials. Just pay attention, right? Just pay attention. And someone said I should proceed. Okay, so let's proceed now. Now, let me do one thing here. Now, if you look at what I did here now, do I need to repeat the same thing for 33, 78? So what do I need to do from here now? Who can tell me what do I need to do here? Yes, the else you will not write it. The else you will not write it. You will just say it in your mind. You will say it, but you will not write it. Someone say drag. Yeah, thank you. So just drag down. Right, so you can see. So it would, if you have a billions of record, it will automatically drop down to the last one, right? It will automatically drag down. Now, how do we know if our query works. How do we know? So you can filter. We can filter. So you can just come to this place, right? And let's look at the teenager. Let's pick 12. Or okay, sorry. Let's do it like this. Let's filter from this place. Let's pick adult here, right? Right. Now, if you check our adult, the adult is between 46 and 55. So you can see, if you look at the customer age, is actually between that criteria we set. So it means we are good. Our query is fine, right? Then you can also check for senior citizen, right? To confirm that. Look at it. I said any customers above 71. So if you can see, everyone near they are above 71, right? Nobody is 70 here. They are from 71 and above, right? Then so it means our query is work and it's fine. Someone said I should go over it again. So I'm going to quickly take times and go over it again, right? Please. So if you don't understand, please kindly pay attention now while we go over it again, right? So I'm going to remove everything here, right? Remove them. Now, let's go over it again, right? Now, so I said we are using if function, right, to categorize customers' age. So, and the first thing here is your logical test. Your logical test here is your first value, which is 19. Is the first, which is now what? 19. So you're gonna click on it. So and I said if 19 is less than or equals to 19, that's our first value here. Sorry, you should give us, press comma, open this, it should give us teenager, right? Yeah, so that's condition, that is done, right? That is done. Now the next thing here is what? Youth. That is something I omitted, right? I would like to make adjustment to it now. Now you finish this first one, right? You want to write your second query. So you're going to write if again, right? If function again. I didn't mention this. I didn't mention this in the first place. Now, if again, then your logical test. If n3 is less than or equals to, what value are we using here now? We are using 35, right? It's 35. Then this will give us what? This will give us youth, right? Then press comma. Then the next thing we're going to do is to write a function or a query for customer between 36 and 45. For customer between 36 and 45. So he said if function again, right? Now, the opposite of if function is what they call switch, right? I don't know if we'll be able to talk about that today, but let's continue with this. Now, if then n3, if n3, that's 19, is less than or equals to 55, oh sorry, 45 this time around, 45, then it should give us what? Give us young adult. Young adult. Right? Then comma, if function again, right? This is less than or equals to what number again? 55, right? Comma, it should give us what? Adult. It should give us adult. Then comma, if function again, if this n3, right, less than or equals to 70, right? comma, it should give us what? Elder. Now, the last one, you now hear else is what? Senior citizen or otherwise senior citizen. So, so that shows that we are testing for multiple conditions. All the conditions have been true, right? So the last condition too is also true. So it means it can be true out, it can also be false throughout. But here is all it is true. So what we are trying to test now in the last query is to test the customers that are above 71. Sorry, 71 and above. Right. So instead of writing if N3 is less than or equals to 100 or this or that, you should give us what? You should give us this rather than just say otherwise or else. Give us senior citizen. Right. Now, like I said, once you are done, you want to close your bracket. Please don't just close your bracket with just don't just work with one bracket. You look at the number of times you open your bracket. Look at the number. Someone is asking, how did we come about N3? Right? If you can see the screen, if you see here, this is where 19 is N3. The first value there. The first value there is 19. That's N3. Right? Right? You can also call it like the cell address. As well, I think that has been mentioned. The cell address, that's where we have your 19. So, like I was saying, before you close brackets, look at the number of times you open your bracket. Look at number of times you open your what? You open your bracket. You can count it. Count it. We're going to count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we open bracket 5 times. We open bracket 5 times. So we're going to close bracket 5 times. Right? So once you count that, then you can hit enter. So you can see. Then you just drag down to confirm that. So I think we are good now, right? We should be on the same page now. Anyone can just close his eyes now and do if function. Right. I would like to know if we are okay. Awesome. Okay. So let's proceed. Or any question? I would like to get a question. Is there any question? Okay. Okay, someone ask a question. Okay, we get it. Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So we're gonna go for a break now, right? So when we come back, we continue, right? Thank you. Okay, distance. Okay, welcome back from your break. If you are back from your break, can we continue? Can we start? Okay, awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, okay. So before we went on break, we talked about if function in Excel, right? And we talked about what if function does for us, right? So I said if function is a logical test that we can use to test a multiple condition, right? Or it's either return if the value is true or return if the value is what is false, right? And based on the example cited before we went on break, right? So we have a customer's age, then we try to categorize them into age group, that's teenager, youth, young adults, elder, and senior citizen, right? So we need to proceed, right? Now let's look at if function in another way, right? Let's look at it in another way. So I have this data with me, right? The data contains name, let's say name of students, the subject, that's English, mathematics, then remark, right? So let's look at the data first, and then before we approach it using if function. So let's assume that this is a student mark, right, for a certain school, right? So the first data there is Williams. So in English, William had 29. In mathematics, he scored 78. Now we want to use if function, right, to categorize this student, whether he failed or passed, right? We want to categorize if this guy passed the exam or he failed the exam, right? Now, if you look at it now, if I come to this place, if I said if function, right, and I said this is less than what? So we need to define a value that we will use as a yardstick. We need to define a value that we will use as a yardstick. Like, okay, uh, if any student score above certain mark, the student consider passed. Then if the student score below certain mark, the student consider failed, right? The student consider failed, right? Now, so what do we do? So let's look at the both subjects and assume that anyone that scores 60 and above, right? Anyone that score 60 and above should consider pass. So anyone score below 60, consider failed, right? So that's what this data is talking about, right? Now, you can do for you can just come to this place and say if function, right? Okay, sorry, let's do a parameter. Let's say um someone that scored between 29 and 40. Between 29 and 40 is still failed, right? Now we don't want to repeat the same thing that we did before we went on break. So I think everybody here now can tell me students that pass and students that fail. See, you just use a two parameters. So if you score, if 29 is less than, if 29 is less than 60, that's a failed, right? Then if 29 is greater than 60, that's what? That's pass, right? That's simple. Everybody can be able to attempt that, right? I don't know if we are on the same page. I want to know if we are on the same page. Okay, so people say 50 and above. Okay, we should use 50, Abby. We should not use 60. 60 will be too harsh. Okay, let's use 50. Let's use 50. Okay. Now, so if you write your if function that if 29 is less than 50, that is failed. Then if 29 is greater than 60, sorry, greater than 50, that's pass, right? That is very simple. I believe everyone now can attempt that. Then you come to mathematics and said if anyone score below 50, that's a pass, that's a failed. Then if anyone score above 50, that's failed, right? That's simple. Now I want to introduce if another function. So okay, let's say for instance now in a situation whereby the school now said, we remember when we were in secondary school, right? You have to pass, it's a compulsory subject that you have to pass mathematics and English before you can be promoted, right? It's a compulsory subject that, okay, even though you pass all the other subjects, if you fail mathematics and English, you would definitely not going to be promoted. You will have to retake the class, right? So that's the condition. Now we want to solve a problem here. The school said you must pass both English and mathematics before you can be promoted, right? You must pass both, meaning if you fail one, it means you will not be promoted. I don't know if anyone can now give me that function we will use now that will now help us to know people that pass one and fail the other one, or people that failed both subjects, or people that failed or that passed both subjects, right? Now, so we are going to use something called hand function, right? Hand function. I don't know if you guys have heard about hand function in Excel before, right? And function. So add function will now help us to know students that pass English but fail mathematics. That student will not be promoted. Look at Williams. Look at Williams here. William, based on our cutoff mark 50, Williams had 29, but in mathematics he got 78. And based on the standard that the school sets, that if you pass one and you fail one, you will not be promoted. Here, this guy will not be promoted. But what the function in Excel that we can use that will help us to know that the people that pass one and failed one and will not be promoted, or the people that fail both will not be promoted, and the people that pass both will be promoted. So I don't know if you are on the same page. Is it clear before I proceed? Or can I proceed? Hand function, yes. Hand function, yes. Okay. Now, so let's quickly talk about what is hand function is in Excel. So the and function in Excel is a logical function that evaluates multiple conditions. Let's like that. And function in Excel is a logical function that evaluates multiple conditions. So it can't evaluate only one condition. So two or more conditions. That's what I mean by multiple condition. that evaluate multiple conditions. Now, look at the definition now. So it's that it return true. It return true only if all the provided conditions are true, right? It will return true only if the multiple conditions or all the provided conditions are met or the conditions are true. That is when AND function can be used. Let me go over it again. So I said AND function return true. It will return true. It will return true if all conditions are true, right? Now, then return false if any one or more conditions are false. Are you getting me? Now, so I used to say that AND function is very strict. AND function is very strict. So, based on the data given to us now, and based on the definition I've given, right, this guy will not be promoted. This guy will not be promoted. This Williams. So I said AND function, both conditions must be true before it will return true. That's AND function. Both conditions must be true before it can return true. So if one of the condition is false, it will return false for you. Okay, I will recap now. So I said AND function, is a logical function that evaluates multiple conditions. It evaluates multiple conditions. And I said 2 or more conditions, right? So, and I said further that AND function return true, right? Return true only if all the provided conditions are true. Only if all the provided conditions are true. And I said it will return false. It will return false if one of the conditions is false. So the expectation here is that both conditions must be true. But if one of the conditions is false, it will return, your output will be false. So, and I said a good example is what you can see on the screen, on the data provided. If you look at this guy called Williams, he did not meet both conditions. So in here is going to return false for us using AND function. It's going to return false for us using AND function, right? Because it did not meet both conditions. It passed one subject, but it failed the other subject, right? It passed one subject and failed the other subject. Now, let's look at it now. Let's pay attention and see the way I'm going to write the query for you. So I'm going to come to this place. So it's going to return false, then and true. So I'm going to come to this place. So I will say if function let's use AND first before we now go to if function. Now, so I'm going to come here. I'll say AND, right? Hit enter. If this guy, if this guy is it going to be greater than or less than? Let me ask that question now. Is it going to be greater than or less than? I need a response. Greater than or less than? Okay, awesome, greater than. So because you must pass, not that you must fail, you must pass. So if 29 is greater than, what's the number? 50, right? Then, comma, you come to this place, you come to mathematics. It's not less than, it's greater than. Because you must pass out, you must pass. Not, we are looking at, we want to promote students, and the student must pass, not must fail. So it's going to be greater than. So you guys understand now? Can you guys see my screen? Okay. So for those of you that is saying less than, no, it's greater than. So it's greater than because we are saying the student must pass, not must fail. So it's greater than. Thank you. So let's proceed now. So that is for English. Now for mathematics, you come to this place again, you just say this greater than 50, right? Then you close the bracket. So if I press enter now, I want to ask a question. If I press enter now, is it going to give me true or false? If I press enter, is it going to give me true or false? So false, 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 false. For those of you that are saying false, you are correct. Because if you look at the condition, let's hit enter first so you can see. So it's gonna give me false because it passed. Now let's now drag down. Let's drag down. Okay. I need to. Okay, let's drag down. Let's filter. Okay. Let's filter. I want to filter something right through, but I want to confirm something. Aha. So, okay. Now, if you look at it now, if you have done it from your hand, if you look at it, let's filter down to false. You will see that those outputs that return false, none of them meet the condition. It's either they pass English and failed mathematics, or pass mathematics and failed English. So if you look at it, if you look at this one, look at this. Look at this one, look at it, right? Pass one, failed one. This one failed the two. This one failed the two. Sorry, pass one, failed one, pass one. This one failed the two, pass one, failed one, pass one, failed one, right? You can see, so this is what they call mass failure. Someone said the condition is not, the condition is concluded, right? The condition is concluded, right? So then you can see, then if you want to check the false, sorry, the true, to know if they are correct, right? Let's check. You will see 99, 56, 68, 88, 71. None of them score below. Someone is asking if they score 50 in both subjects. Yes, pass now. It's a 50, he said 50 and we would not say 51 and above. It's 50 and above. So if score 50 in both subjects, the person pass. The person pass. Right? Now, let's do one thing before we proceed. Let's say, for instance, now, if I change this to 50, what will happen? Right? Okay, because I did not put it in table, so it didn't change. Let's leave it the way it was. Now, I don't know, should I go over it again? Is it clear, or I should go over it again? Let's quickly go over it again before we proceed. Right. So let's go over it again. So I'm going to say is equals to hand, right? Hit enter. Then if I so this one is greater than 50, then comma, then this is greater than 50, then hit brackets. It's just this is very simple, right? Very, very, very simple. Right? Just hit enter and then drag down. Now, what I want us to do. Okay, yeah, I've gone over it again now. Right. Let's continue. If you have not grabbed it, you will grab it. What I want to do something now. What I want to do is that I want to send this report to the school principal. So the school principal does not understand false or true. What the school wants to see is promoted or repeat. Promoted or repeat. So how am I going to change, or how do I change this false? Right? Because this false is a default output. This false is a default output. So if I send this thing to the school principal, it doesn't understand. What the school wants to see is either you promoted or repeated. Promoted or repeated. So I want to change this false. I don't want it to return false again. I want anywhere I see false, I want to replace it with repeat. Repeat. Right? Then anywhere I see true, promoted. So that's what I want to do. I want to replace it. So how am I going to do that? So someone is already telling us, and means promoted repeat. Okay. Yes, but your query is not completed. Unwachuku is not, yeah, you are correct. You got it, but it is not completed. Right? So you need to add something before hand function. Okay, so let's proceed now. So I'm going to clean this. I'm going to remove this. I'm going to remove this. Right? So I'm going to come to this place. Now, so what we are going to use now, we are going to use if function. Okay? I'm going to use if function now. So I'll come to this place. If, okay, yeah, correct. Ada Nwachuku, you are correct. You are correct. So let's go over it for those that didn't get it. Let's go over it. Now, I'll say if, so I will now repeat the first one I did. So I'll say if this, no, sorry. So open the bracket, then hand, right? Then hand open another bracket for you. Open the bracket and then I'll say if this is greater than the cutoff mark is 50, right? Then some people are saying greater than or equals to. Okay, you can put equal. Sorry, you can put greater than or equals to 50, right? You still get the same thing. Then comes to this place, greater than or equals to 50 also, right? So once you do that, you close the bracket. So once that bracket is closed, press comma, right? Your quotation mark, or is it quotation or apostrophe, then put promoted as a first condition, right? Then comma, then repeated, right? Then you close your bracket. So how many times do we open brackets? open bracket, 1, 2, 2 times, you close the bracket, this, right? Now, let's hit enter. Where's the error coming from? Okay, correct. So you can see now, instead of if, it's giving me repeated. Instead of if, instead of false, it's giving me repeated. So I can just drag down, right? So you see, now if you filter down to those repeated, you see that it's still student, the same student that failed one subject. Okay, this one, okay, this one is promoted. You can see that they all passed. So if I send this one out, so the school management understand this, right? And if you come to this place and filter the repeated, definitely you will see that one pass, or pass one subject and fail the other subject, pass one subject and fail the other subject, right? Okay, so before we proceed now, okay, someone said I should come again. Okay, let's go over it again. We are still going to talk about how function, right? We're going to talk about all function. So let's go back. Let's clean this. Sorry. Okay. Okay, so I want to go over it again. Please, if you have not gotten it, please pay attention. Right. So in the first one we did, if you pass one and you failed one, it means you will not be promoted. If you pass one and you failed one, you will not be promoted. And when you look at the definition of hand function, it means both conditions must be met before it will return true. But if one of the condition is false, it will return false for you. So, meaning if you fail one subject, you will not be promoted. But if you pass both subjects, you'll be promoted. Right? So that is what we're trying to do. Someone is asking is if it's possible to use promote instead of using true. That's what we just did. So that's just what we just did. Right. So I want to go over it again. So I'm going to come to this place. I press equal sign if, right? If. But so before you can use, your output can be promote or failed, you have to apply if function. You have to apply if function. I think that's what that guy did. I don't know if it's a guy or a lady. Ada Unwachuku. That's what he did, right? And he made a mistake and he corrected it. So, like now, so I'm gonna come here. If function, then and function again, then brackets open. So I'm gonna say 29 greater than or equals to 50, right? Comma 78 greater or equals to 50, comma, right? So the bracket closed, then comma, right? So I'm going to say, so now the essence of if function is to tell you when one condition, okay, where it's supposed to be true, it should not return true, it should give me promoted. Where it's supposed to be, when it's supposed to return false, it should give me repeat. So that's the essence of introducing if function. So I'm going to come to this place and I'll say, right, promote, right, promoted, then repeated, right, then hit enter. Okay. So now you can drag it. Okay, let me just drag it down. Okay, there's error here. That's everything is showing. Okay, just hold on. If, right, so open the brackets, and, right, then this is greater or equals to 50, right, comma, then this greater or equals to 50, right, then comma, this promoted, right, repeated, right, that's error here. Why is it giving me this? We've gotten this before. Hold on. Okay, thank you. Someone said so. Oh, sorry, I'm on filter. No wonder. Sorry. Thank you. Okay, so you can see. There you can see now. Okay, now, so I think we are good now. Now let's look at the whole function, right? So based on the explanation I gave, or based on the definition I gave for and function, then what should be the, who can explain or what do you understand by all function in Excel? All function in Excel, right? So all function is just like, can I just say like an opposite of and function? You know, I said that and function is very strict, right? Then all function is not strict. Is not strict, right? So let's say for instance now, based on this, there's a mass failure in the school. There's a mass failure, right? There's a mass failure in the school. About 70% of the students failed, right? So the school now decided to revert their decision, right? That if you pass, that you have to pass both subjects before you can be promoted. Meanwhile, you pass all the other subjects, but this English and mathematics. So the smart school, okay, no, let's reverse our decision, right? That if you pass one, you can still be promoted. If you pass one, you can still be what? You're promoted. So it means if you pass English and fail mathematics, you can be promoted. If you pass mathematics and fail English, then you can still be promoted. Right. Now, in this scenario, you can't use and function again. Right? You have to use all function. So now that now tells us that all function, for all function, it is not necessary that both condition must be met. It is not, please get me right, it is not necessary for both condition to be met. So meaning under all function, if one condition is met, it will return true. If just one condition out of thousands of conditions, right, or out of multiple conditions, if one condition is met, then it will return true. Peradventure, if both conditions are met, yeah, good. That's good. No problem. You are good to go. But what it's looking for is that if I can see one person, only one person meets this condition, then I'm good to go. So that is what all function does for you. So you can see that it's actually different from hand function, right? For those of you that comes from a electrical or physics background, that's something like logic gate, or gate and hand gate in electronics, right? Is that what works in our um in your gate. When your gate is open, that should, when the gate is open, there will be flow of current. Then when it is closed, then the current flow are forgotten. So that's how it's still the same principle that guide against all the everything like this. So now for the all functional, if I now use all function, so what will now happen to Williams? Will William be promoted now, or William will still be repeated? I want to know, if we now use all function, will Williams be promoted or William will still be repeat? Promoted. Thank you. Because he passed one, he failed one, so Williams will be promoted. Now let's go back again and write all function first, and let's see. So if it comes to this place, right, and put your all function, and you say this greater than or less than 50, right, comma, then this greater than or less than 50, then you close your bracket, then you hit enter. So you can see now it's no longer true now. So it's no longer false, it's now true, right? It's now true. So you can see now, if you look at this now, there's going to be, it means mostly all the students will be promoted. Let's look at it. Now, for those that failed, if you check, these are the people that fail both subjects. If you look at them, 34, 23, 10, 34, 6, 44. With this now, there's nothing the school can do. These three people has to be promoted, has to repeat, right? Has to repeat. Okay, right? So now let's continue. Now this time around, I don't want to see true or false again. So what I want to see is promoted or failed. So I'll just come to this place. I'll put my if function here, right? Then I'll come here, I'll press this. Um, right, this, right, then this, repeated, right, close, right, then hit enter. Right now, so you can see, right, you can see. So let me use this opportunity to let you know that all function and hand function is a one of the function in a data analysis that you can never escape. If you escape it in Excel, you cannot escape it in SQL. You cannot escape it in Power BI. You cannot escape it in your Python. So, and the truth matter of it is that it's the same principle. If you understand what hand function is, by the time you get to the SQL and you have been teaching hand function in SQL, it's the same logic, nothing changed. So please, I want you to go over this today's class, understand what if and how and hand function is. Like by the time you get to your SQL class, it's going to be like a repetition. By the time you get to Power BI, it's going to be like a repetition because you already understood it all the way from Excel, right? Okay. So that's how the odd function and AND function is. So let's look at what happened here now. I would like you to attempt this. right? I'd like you guys to attempt this. So let me quickly explain this, then you attempt this. Now, this is just like a data, like it has to do with a score too, right? I will send some materials as well, right? So this was like a data, and here too, you can use the same, you can use if function, right? If this pass should be pass or failed, then you can also use repeated or promote, repeated or promote. Are you getting me? So you can use the same thing. Once you are able to get these materials, try to attempt this, right? Try to attempt this, right? Okay. So okay, when one condition is met, yes, when one condition is met, that is all. That is all. It means it is not necessary that both conditions must be met for all function, but in AND function, both conditions must be met. In the AND function, both conditions must be met, right? Both conditions must be met in the AND function. Both conditions must be met, right? So that's the reason why that if you see some of them that failed one subject and passed the other subject will not be promoted using AND function. But using OR function, right? If you pass one and you failed one, you still be promoted, right? Just like you are writing your SQL query and you want to return a customer's information, and there's a column for customer's name and there's a column for customer gender. So you want to return customers that are female, right? And you now pick a customer, maybe customer's name is Ada, right? And in the gender, there is nothing like boy or girl. What you have there is either a male or female. But using AND function, if you write your SQL query, it will return the customer, because using OR function, there's a customer bearing Ada, but the other parameter, the other condition, that is gender, is not going to look at whether it's a male or female or girl or boy once the one condition. But if you use AND function, it means the both condition must be met. So if you run that query in SQL, it's going to return an empty table for you. So it's going to return an empty table for you. So I think we are good, right? Right. So the what I ask you to attend is on the materials. For those of you that have not gotten the materials, right, you will get the materials, right? Definitely you're going to get the materials. So if you can see my screen, so this is the part I want every one of you to attend, right? Just by the time you go over to this class, right, just take your time to attend this, right? Just go by to attempt this one, right? Okay. I think we're gonna stop here today for a minute. I would like to take your question. If you have a question, I would like to take your question. Okay, some of us have not yet to get any materials. Please, I don't know, maybe because we are not on the group chat. Okay, the admin are already taking all this, right? So definitely they're going to send your materials across to you for today's class. For this class, right? For this one, you will get it. Definitely, you are going to get it, right? Someone is asking, what are we supposed to attempt, right? By the time you get your materials, you're going to see a data set by the left, right, that contains score 1, score 2, score 3, score 4, total, and the result. So that is the one you are attempt. So you are going to use all the conditions we used, all the functions we used today. You're going to use if function to attempt it to see students that promoted or failed. You can use OR and AND function to return true or false. Then you can now use if function again to replace those true and false with promoted, or you can use something like qualify or disqualify. Yeah, you can don't. It's not a must you use promoted and failed. You can use qualify and disqualify, right? So, like I said, you're going to get the materials, right? You're going to get the materials. Okay. Hey, admitted, no, not admitted. Hey, that's a who is the Austin? Yeah, thank you. You can use admitted or not admitted too. Because let's say, for instance, now you want to send this into a scholarship board, right? Or admission board. So if you use disqualify and maybe the person is not qualified for the scholarship, then if you use admitted or not admitted, maybe the person did not meet up. Let's say, for instance, for a jump, if it did not meet up with a cutoff mark, the cutoff mark is, let's say, is 70. So if you score anything below 70, you are not admitted, you are not qualified, you are disqualified. So you can use any of those words that come to your mind: disqualify, qualify, admitted, not admitted. Right? That's a good one. Okay, someone said materials has been sent to the group. Go and get it there. Okay, okay, right. Awesome. So please, once you get the materials, just attempt it, right? If you are correct, you will know. If you are not, you can sync with any of your friends on the group, and then they will help you out with it. Okay, what will be the pass mark? Okay, what will be the pass mark? Yeah, if you look at the total, let's use the same. This time around, let's use 60. Let's use 60, right? This time around, don't use 50 again. Use 60. 60 is fine. Okay. So thank you everyone. It's my pleasure, right, to take you guys tonight. So thank you. Do enjoy your night.